Hey guys, and welcome to my review on the Anthem demo. This will cover my experience in both the VIP demo and the open demo. I'll preface this video by stating I'll treat it as EA and BioWare decided to call it a demo. If this was classified as a beta, I would be much more open and possibly forgiving, but a demo by dictionary definition is to try out or to exhibit the use of a product, process, or the like. That is as close to the definition as how I felt the demo was when I played it, and that's what I'm going by. It is an exhibit or an exhibition of the game. First thing I'd like to get out of the way is trying to get in the game. Wow. It was quite challenging to get in on the first day of the VIP demo, to the point where I just said, this is a waste of time. So I gave up for the first day and made it a point to play the next. Outside of a future issue I had doing the Stronghold, this was my only major issue with the game and logging in. I doubt the full game will be like this, however, it's quite sad to see server issues were so prevalent. Many people were having trouble getting in and staying in the server, some facing infinite loading screens or the inability to get it on the game in the first place, like myself. For that, I just gotta give Anthem a bit of a knock. Second thing I'd like to hop on is the graphics. There's no doubt as to the quality of this game's graphics, as Frostbite has shown its beauty once more. The world itself is absolutely stunning. The colors and flashes and just the general palette is just pleasing and beautiful, and the feel of the world is extremely fitting. BioWare held nothing back as they worked with the Frostbite engine this time around, blowing us out of the water with the visuals. Anthem isn't all rainbows and shiny colors though. The gameplay is what should be keeping people hooked. Here's where I have my first bit of conflict with the game. There are pros and cons to the gameplay which makes this challenging. First, the travel in Anthem is pretty enjoyable. The cooling system as you fly near a river or through water is interesting and well-placed touch. My only gripe would be if you have to fly long distances to reach objectives, it can become tedious. However, they make up for this by having loads of spawn-in points across the map. The fighting part of the game is fun, but at the higher levels it's looking like it might be tedious. Even on hard, I was finding myself dealing with a bullet sponge situation which drove me insane. I did try out all three difficulties in the demo and found they were good steps above one another, aside from the time it took to kill things in hard. It does have gear recommendations for the three highest difficulties, but improving the enemy HP at the same rate as their damage will only make them take forever to kill, unless masterwork and legendary weapons are extremely overpowered. Speaking of weapons, the guns feel okay. Some of them, like the grenade launchers or marksman rifles, felt fine, but there really wasn't a special feel. Aside from the pistols had a special feel that they were just garbage. I mean, they were bad. The rest of the weapons, though, just had a meh. Nothing really stood out. Now the abilities, that's where combat gets interesting. The basic Javelin's abilities felt very similar to the Mass Effect abilities, to the point where I can't see any differences. I mean, the animations seemed the same with the grenade toss and the homing missile, honestly. So I moved on to my next Javelin, and that was the Colossus, or the big boy. And in the Colossus, I really did feel like a mobile juggernaut, being able to fire off a cannon round from my back, or a railgun shot from my wrist. Then for his ultimate, you just bring out a big cannon and start blowing things away, obliterating everything in your sight, which is so fun. Next one I tried out was the Interceptor, the fast boy, and this one was interesting for sure. I would throw out little ninja stars, get in close, cut things up. Its ultimate is enjoyable as you pull out your blades and just start shredding everything in sight. Lastly, I played the Storm, and oh boy. The focus on abilities in this one was very fun. Calling down an AoE lightning strike or firing off a wrist blaster of freezing shots is so fun. I could even drop a shield wall to block enemy projectiles, and honestly this was the most fun I had. Its ultimate looks as though I just unleashed a rain of destruction on the enemy, and it is just so visually pleasing above the others. All in all, I would say the most fun I had was playing the Storm and Colossus Javelins, with the basic far, far below the other three, and it really needs some tuning and bringing it up to par with the others. While I was on the Colossus, I did make an attempt to go to the endgame of Anthem, the Stronghold. First, I'll start by saying we made it to the last boss encounter, but I didn't actually get to play against the last boss because the servers crashed. So I never finished the last boss. For my take on the rest of it, well, it doesn't feel majorly impressive. It feels okay. We killed a couple large swarms and big mobs, but there was nothing super special to take away from it, which is that's not good for the game that the strongholds don't feel like they're engaging or like they're super fun. The last thing I'd like to tackle is the story in the safe zone. I'll start this off by saying when you're in Fort Tarsus, the walking speed the game forces you to be at is so slow. I understand why they don't want you zooming through the area, sprinting through it, while everybody else is taking their time, but the movement in this fort is ridiculously slow. However, on the story I found it to be quite engaging. The story missions were slightly repetitive, but not bad. The people you can speak to in the game, in the story, and just in the fort are actually kind of interesting, and some of them do give you a bit of a freedom in the dialogue, so you can choose different options. But it's to be seen if that will really affect the world and do anything like Mass Effect or any of BioWare's other games it does. I ran through this story twice, and both times the last cinematic seems to be broken to where nothing happens and you just sit there for a minute before having to exit and getting greeted by the "thanks for playing the demo" screen. Overall, Anthem has potential to be great, but the technical issues with the game and some of the gameplay just hold it back. There were multiple times where a group of mobs I encountered just vanished into thin air, which drove me nuts. Not to mention the server instability, which seemed to cause me to miss out on the final boss of the stronghold, and just the loss of the cinematic at the end. I also have to take into account this is a live service game. If the rumors of the monetization are true, which I hope they aren't, you're probably going to be buying some of the better skins for $20, but that remains to be seen. So ignoring that, Anthem's a game I'd rate a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. If you have a way to try out the game for free or can find it used or cheap, I recommend you give it a go. Outside of that, I don't really believe this is worth the full $60 price tag. Well, that's it for my review on the Anthem demo, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate it if you give me a like and subscribe, and leave your comments and opinions down below. I'll see you next time, and bye for now.